Hi, everybody. This is Tim Boss from FinancialCyclesWeekly.com, and we've had a lot of news in the last couple of days, of course, about Facebook and its big plunge in the markets. And so we're talking here today about Facebook going retrograde. We wanted to share this information with you because it's information that we've already shared with our Gold Plus Elite members here at FinancialCyclesWeekly.com, and we wanted to spread the word about this because we think it's very, very important to understand exactly what's going on with this situation with Facebook right now. Of course, we've seen this big plunge in the share prices with Facebook. With our chart here, we're looking at planetary price lines in the fourth harmonic for Mercury and for the trans-Neptunian factor Chronos. Now, as we look at these price lines, they help us understand the trading dynamics with this particular stock. And of course, we've got the first harmonic Mercury line. That's a little bit thicker, a little bit bolder in the magenta there. And of course, with Chronos, the first harmonic price line is in blue. It's a little bit thicker there as well. So we just wanted to give you a picture of what we're looking at. So we have these price lines here helping us understand the trading action in Facebook shares. Now, we notice over here, back on the 24th of April at point A, that the price of Facebook gapped upward. This occurred right when there was a conjunction of Mercury and Chronos, so that first harmonic dynamic really impacted the price of Facebook. This is one of our early clues that Mercury is very, very important with the trading action in Facebook. Of course, as we moved on a little farther, on the 15th of May, we marked that with the letter B here. Facebook shares began tracking that first harmonic Mercury line very, very closely. They continued to do so for a couple of months, all the way to the 3rd of July. We notice that that first harmonic magenta Mercury price line provided very, very strong support for the price action in Facebook. Then after that, we had a move upward, and Facebook moved up here to point D on the 24th of July, and we saw another gap upward, a small gap in this point. But at that point, what happened was we got an exact low on that second harmonic Mercury price line with that gap upward. Again, a confirmation of the importance of Mercury. Then, of course, the following day, on the 25th of July, Facebook tried to move a little bit higher. It closed right on that fourth harmonic Chronos line, but that was not enough to really hold it up very well after that. Of course, we saw right after that then the big drop in Facebook, and it was right after that move on the 25th, that evening on the Wednesday after the market closed, Facebook had its infamous, now I guess we could say, earnings report, in which their projections were pretty grim. It was bad news after the market closed. A major Facebook revenue drop has long-term investors on alert, said the headlines. Basically, what they said was the second quarter earnings report showed that Facebook had missed its target revenues for the quarter. That, of course, was a disappointment, and the share prices dropped nearly 20% on the following day, and that was actually the biggest loss in the history of the U.S. Stock market. $120 billion lost in market capitalization in a single trading day. An enormous move down. But the really bad news, of course, came from the CFO, David Venner, who said that the total revenue growth rates will continue to move lower. They will decelerate through at least the remainder of 2018. Stockholders didn't like that very much. Of course, this all came just hours before the Mercury Retrograde station, which took place in the early morning hours of Thursday, July 26th, and we can see the lineup there with some of the stressful points being accented by that Mercury retrograde station. And of course, we mark this with point F here. This is what happened on Thursday, the day after that earnings report. We saw that big decline, lower, the loss of over 20% in the share price, and it closed that day right on a second harmonic Mercury price line. Very interesting. Mercury was still kind of holding court there as well. Now, the interesting thing, of course, was not just the fact that Mercury went retrograde when this occurred, but the specific Mercury retrograde placement at the time. This is what really did the number on Facebook, so to speak. Here's Mercury at 23 degrees of Leo, and we note, of course, at the time that this retrograde station occurred, it was square to the first trade Jupiter of Facebook. This is an indication of big news. Jupiter and Mercury, Mercury's news, Jupiter makes things bigger. So this was very, very important news that came out that day. In addition to that, we had the sextile to first trade Saturn. So not only was there big news, it was bad news. So the bad Saturn dynamic came into play. On top of that, we had Uranus up here conjoining the first trade moon. So it was a big volatility in the public's perception of the company at that particular time. As well, we saw Saturn in a sextile to first trade Neptune, putting a damper on speculative activity, a very negative spin on the viability of Facebook as an advancing share, as a speculative dynamic there. Then we can look at the same dynamic with the Facebook first trade chart here. We've used the 90-degree dial and put the pointer at the position of that Mercury retrograde station. We see an activation here, of course, of the Venus ascendant axis, which is all about public opinion, what's the public perception of the company, and that definitely came under threat. The most important factor, of course, was the activation of the Uranus-Pluto midpoint by that Mercury station, and this comes out very, very strongly. This is about huge transformation, big changes, kind of a cracking up, a dissolving of the old paradigm. Things break apart, not to be put back together again. In our book, this is an indication we can expect to see more downside to come with share prices in Facebook. The bottom line here is that Mercury matters. We look at these Mercury stations in general, and with Facebook in specific, we see this very, very big negative impact. If you want more information on the Mercury dynamics in the market, we recommend our book, Mercury Money and the Markets, Profitable Planetary Cycles for Short-Term Astro Trading. You'll find that available on Amazon. And of course, we encourage you as well to join us at FinancialCyclesWeekly.com. We have our Gold Plus Elite membership program in which we provide extra guidance for your success in astro trading. This is Tim Bost with FinancialCyclesWeekly.com. Thanks so much for taking time to join me today.